Dynamite.
From where I live, for context.
Fuck you, Craig.
All right, y'all. I think I saw the one where he was like trying to make a senator do gay things.
What?
See, I can't take Sacha Baron Cohen seriously because ever since Bruno, where this motherfucker was like, I gave him a traditional African baby name, OJ. I was like, listen, this is too much. Like, Borat was funny, but this is too much. Like,
to be real, he was going at the necks of gay culture, like, in ways that I could never understand until I was older.
Yeah, but then gay culture evolved and it got better, and it was like, this is just really bad stereotypes now.
Yeah.
It aged like milk.
Stereotypism?
Like milk. You're right.
Yeah.
You said aged like milk.
I'm tired and I'm sipping on my cider to relax. Like, because like this entire conversation we're about to have is going to aggravate my blood.
All right, I sent you a video of what happened at this town hall meeting an hour ago for me. Like,
well, let's
knock
this shit out.
Yes, let me get my anger together.
Okay, so
I'm gonna be an angry black man for like an hour.
So we're not gonna fuck with Beast Morphers. Beast Morphers isn't done. I'm pulling a Linkara, and we're not talking about Beast Morphers until it's done. So
that's great.
Okay.
The plan is because of like busyness and conflicts and yada yada. Tonight is Neo Saban. Sunday,
I don't feel good.
Sunday, if y'all want, we can do a part 5 and do Shattered Grid. That's up to y'all.
Doing so great on Sundays. I'm gonna go ahead and nix that, or at the very least, I can't because it's Super Bowl Sunday and I work at.
Oh yeah, it's Super Bowl Sunday on Sunday.
Oh,
I have a 9-hour shift. We're expected to do 10K, maybe more, probably more actually, because we did 10K last year, and we have grown by 60-something% over the past year. So,
Andre, you gonna watch it?
Be fun.
What time does it come on?
I don't fucking know.
Our
the
time.
Super Bowl?
Like on our end.
I mean, it depends. Do you want like the pre-show or the actual game?
I want the actual game.
I think it's sometime around 3:45-ish my time.
So 6 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I'm not opposed. That just depends on what time I get off work.
You want to talk some Shattered Grid, my guy?
I mean, I'm not opposed. It will make me less angry about what we're about to talk about today.
Talk about the Jason Vanderbeek short.
Oof.
It's so good.
No, it's not.
You guys, I'm the casual. Let me enjoy things.
Travis.
You're valid.
Travis, you're enjoying the wrong things, but you're valid.
Here's the best part.
No.
Here's the best part. The funniest shit about you bringing that up, it has context for talking about samurai. So yes, I will allow it. For the sake,
I grew up on MMPR, so when they came back, I was like, "What? Is this going to be a thing? Are they going to make like Dark Power Rangers a thing?" But they didn't.
No,
but they didn't.
Let me rock out the intro, and then we'll get into it. Because you bringing that up is very, very timed to the discussion of samurai. So good job, Travis. You get the bonus point of the day.
Good job, Travis.
I get to not just sit here and be like, wow, well, this season sounds really fucking nuts, and I don't even know what you guys are talking about. So now I know what I'm talking about.
Just for that, he can go first.
Well, no, because
you can introduce him first.
I'll introduce him first, and then I'm gonna sit. And once we get everything going, I'm gonna like give an overview of the Power / Ranger special because I still have it like caked into my brain. And then I'll talk about Samurai because it has context of what's going on. So good job, Travis.
Good job, Travis.
All right,
pat on the back for you.
Yay!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is going on, good people of the internet? It is time once again for us to come together as Black nerds, as African American nerds, as blerds, whatever you want to call us. We are here once again to do this show we call Blerd Grounds, where we come together and talk about whatever we want when it comes to the nerd cultures, whether it be Power Rangers, like we're doing once again for the semi-final time of the night. When it comes to Star Wars, anime, manga, video games, comic books, everything under the nerd sun, we are here to discuss it and enjoy it as Black nerds. My name is James Portis. To my left, we have the man who is so sick of Disney on Ice that if he hears "Let It Go" one more time, he gonna choke a child. Andre, how you doing?
You're absolutely right. I will choke a child if I have to hear that song one more time. Actually, no, I lied. If I have to hear "Love Is an Open Door" one more time, I will choke a child.
That's what it was. That's
the one. "Let It Go" is actually okay.
Let It Go is free.
Yo, where are you working at? I need tickets.
I'm working at Nationwide Arena. They're $15.
But then you have to account for airfare because we're in Ohio.
Oh, well then, yeah, you got to pay your own way.
Y'all are in Ohio.
Yeah.
Where did you think I was?
I don't know, man. We on the internet. You could be next door.
Honestly, I have my doubts that anyone actually lives in Ohio. I'm pretty sure Ohio is a made-up place.
Shit, I wish, honey. I wish.
I wish it was.
Next to him, we have the man who's salty. He can't go take his daughter to Disney on Ice now, and the afro continues to grow. Travis Tucker, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been hyper engaging soccer dad mode. So that's been the shit.
Ooh, okay.
Soccer dad.
You checking out them soccer moms?
Well, no, I'm just trying to be there for my kid, and then maybe one day someone will throw me a hint, but that's it.
Travis, you know goddamn well you pulled up just like Jason Momoa with that lawn chair and went, bang, what up?
See, and here's what fucks with me, too, is like, I feel like I'm just doing like the basic shit and I could be doing more for Cece, but everyone's like, you do so much for your daughter that my dad never did. And I'm like, what are you doing?
All you gotta do is bring snacks. That's it.
You gonna pull up like Junior's dad in the Problem Child movies and have every girl on the block at your door, like giving you pies when you move in.
Right.
I'm gonna start counting the number of references you make. Just an episode.
Are you hating on my references?
I'm not hating. I'm just noticing an increase. That's all.
Life is references.
Yeah, life is references.
Life is references.
Anyway, next to him, we have the woman who is criticizing my references, and the woman who will be making all of your Super Bowl wings on Sunday at your local wing stop. Jasmine, how you doing this evening?
I'm okay. I am recovering from a particularly bad Vertigo episode, so I am not 100%, but I'm here, and
that's awesome.
Well, I wish I could say I'm excited to be here, but honestly,
the topic of the evening is going to be a little rough for everybody. Well,
those wings at Wingstop are bomb, though, if I may say.
Yes, I know. You may say, please give us more shout-outs forever.
Yes,
we have the best wings.
They're bomb.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay. Don't forget, you can check out this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Podcast Republic, Overcast, all them different things, except for SoundCloud. We don't support SoundCloud around here. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Blerd Grounds. You can follow the website on Comics Ground on Twitter and Instagram at On Comics Ground. And you can check out our other podcasts that are included in the OCG network. We have our Living on the Edge podcast, and we have our Panel to Panel comic podcast, all available on those platforms as well. So, and also you can check out the website on comicsground.com. Put some hyphens between those words. That way you can check out all of our reviews, solicitations, previews, and more every weekday. All right. So,
everybody deep breaths.
Everybody deep breaths. So,
deep breaths.
We got through Disney, ended on the best high note possible. And
yes.
At this time, we thought so assuredly that the franchise was over. Disney had packed up the Power Rangers toy box and put it away, but then
it was sealed in the vault.
If they sealed it in the Disney vault, and then Haim Saban came back and said, "You know what? I want it all." And he bought the rights back to Power Rangers and took his butt over to Nickelodeon. And Nickelodeon said, "All right, fine." And the funny part is, we later found out that like Bandai, the company that had been doing the toys for so many years, they were going to continue to make the toys even if there wasn't going to be a show, because they still had the toy license. They still participated in the Super Sentai toys. So even if they had to put like the Tommy, the Jason Tree, Zach, Kimberly sculpts on the Samurai Rangers, because there are prototypes of them doing that. They were going to do just that and just keep the toy line going without the show if they had to. But go ahead, Andre.
I feel like I would have been more okay with that considering the content that we got, but I digress.
Hey. Anyway,
I digress.
Haim Saban came back and said, I am Haim Saban, and I'm going to resurrect this series. He took it over to Nickelodeon. They greenlit it for 2 seasons. I mean 2 seasons because Nickelodeon has an arbitrary rule where all their seasons need to be a certain number of episodes. So this began the trend of the Neo Saban era, where they began to split all of their seasons of Power Rangers, their generations of Power Rangers, into 2 seasons, where they started just having the 1 season name and then adding Super in some way, shape, or form to keep it going. Whether it was Super Samurai, whether it was Super Megaforce, whether it was Dino Supercharge, whether it was Super Ninja Steel, all of these different things happened, and it was stupid.
That was like the worst decision they could have ever made. Like, nothing about the second season, quote unquote, is particularly super. You just got costume upgrades. That's it.
And the worst part is, we found out later that with the entire thing going on, with Beast Morphers, they didn't need to call it Super, because Beast Morphers is just being called Beast Morpher Season 2.
My god.
So now they just look stupider.
That's great.
Before we dive into the Sanzu River and deal with the Nylok along with the Power Rangers Samurai, Travis, you wanted to discuss something that happened about a year or so after Samurai had released. Am I correct?
Yes, I don't know who made that that fan.
You like dipped out,
like short film.
Come back.
That's the technical term for it.
Like you're dipping in and out.
You guys can't hear me?
Come back.
No.
Come back.
Better.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, how about now?
There you go.
Much better.
Okay, I don't know who made the fan made. It's like a 30-minute short film, I think is the proper term for it. But
it was a fan. It's categorized as a fan film, and it was created by Joseph Kahn and Adi Shankar,
and Jason Vanderbeek. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah, he helped the
James Vanderbeek.
James Vanderbeek of Dawson Creek fame.
Yes, and oh man, I just remember being so dark and gritty. Where like most of the Power Rangers were dead. I haven't seen it in years, but I remember Jason was playing as the Red Ranger from MMPR. And he was missing a leg. Like, he had her interrogating her and stuff. And Tommy wasn't JDF. So, I mean, James might like it for that reason.
Okay.
Anything without JDF in it, he'll like, except for a few things.
Let me break it down real quick. So, the Power Stars Rangers fan film came out. It was so sudden. No one saw it coming. It just hit YouTube. But it was so graphic that it kept getting deleted from YouTube. You don't know how many times they put it up. And the basic idea of the fan film was that taking the Mighty Morphin cast and showing how it really should have been. They were trying to play up the stereotype of Hollywood doing dark and gritty reboots with the different like 90s and 80s properties. So they made it super serious. They had Zach the Black Ranger doing cocaine and having like naked women in his bed. He was doing secret Black Ops missions for the government even after he stopped being a Power Ranger. Like, you saw that different governmental bodies had started hunting down the Rangers. So you saw the original Red Ranger Jason get gunned down while he was trying to get married to Kimberly.
Yeah, I forgot about. God dang, that whole thing traumatized me. I think.
Whoops.
Tommy died on the battlefield, but then apparently he didn't die. Like the whole theme of the entire special apparently was that it was about child soldiers and like the trauma and the PTSD they went through. So like they apparently defeated Rita, and then the Machine Empire took over the world. So they could have started controlling Rocky, the replacement Red Ranger who was played by Vanderbeek, and made him start hunting down the rest of the Rangers, including Kimberly. They strapped her to a chair and was trying to figure out where the rest of them were and get all the information they needed. And
Zach was like an assassin for hire.
Yeah, he was just killing everybody, and it was just, ooh. And like, they even played up some things like the hip hop Aikido bit. They played that back up, which was kind of interesting. I thought that was like a nice touch to show like they tried to care about the series, but even though later on Adi Shankar came out and said he didn't give a rat's ass about the entire franchise, he just wanted to make a fan film and show that you can make anything dark and gritty with enough effort.
But that's not good for the brand.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So
bad.
Yeah. So like, and a lot of people liked this. They liked it. They thought it was a nice change and a update from the nostalgia they knew when they were kids. And they wanted this exact movie to be made into what we got in the Lionsgate Power Rangers movie, which in some ways we did, in some ways we didn't. But in the theme of the child soldiers, we lead into Power Rangers Samurai. So, Jasmine, Andre, I'm gonna give you the choice. Do you want to start from what the first published episode was, which was episode 3, or do you want to start from the actual, like, because Nickelodeon is stupid and aired the 3rd episode and not the first episode, or do you want to start from the original first episode that's on the DVDs and the actual series number?
Start from the first.
Start from the actual first. First episode.
We don't need to confuse Travis. We don't need to confuse the listeners.
So
it's fine that
I was confused.
Yeah, everyone was fucking confused.
Spare
the show just airs. They start from the 3rd episode, and then they show the opening for like 2-parter episodes, like at the end of the season, and it was just weird, bruh.
I will say though that the episode that did air first actually had like the highest ratings that Saban had seen since like peak Mighty Morphin. So
I wasn't peak Mighty Morphin. It was like the highest they've seen in a few like since like Time Force or something like that.
Oh, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't like this season anyway, but go on.
I liked it.
I liked it enough.
I liked it better than Overdrive.
No.
Well,
if I had
that's not hard to do.
Jasmine, you're gonna say that Overdrive was better than Samurai?
That is not what I was going to say. I was going to say if you wanted to watch a good version of Samurai, you'd fucking watch
Shinkenger.
God, I hate both of you. Okay.
Shinkenger.
So, background, a little more background before we get started. So when Saban got the show back, they immediately rushed into production. They hired some random people, flew to New Zealand. They brought back longtime producer for different seasons, Jonathan Zacher, who was a fan of the original franchise when it first kicked off. He participated in different fan hoaxes that emphasized different parts of the franchise that weren't even canon. He came back for a little bit, like for earlier parts of the Disney era, but then he was a good chunk of the Disney era, but then was kicked off, and they brought Chip Lynn in to finish it off. But they brought him back to help kickstart the franchise with it coming back to Nickelodeon. So, with him being so rusty and him worried about that newer audiences and smaller children wouldn't be as interested in the franchise, he chose to make have a strong emphasis on the action, the fight scenes, and he didn't care about the Rangers themselves. There's a lot of seriousness, there's a lot of devotion to their craft rather than being human. And the biggest issue of them all was, you know how before Disney had the old joke of just dubbing the Sentai? Zacher literally brought in translators to just translate Shinkenger for American audiences.
I wonder why that sounded familiar.
Listen, again, that's terrible. But the problem was that He was white. That was the problem.
You have because the whole theme
Well,
of
it's the one Asian.
Great.
Anyway,
Yes.
the one Asian Gold Ranger who they say is Spanish, but anyway.
Oh, what? No, I meant pink.
Well, no,
Oh.
definitely not. Antonio's very clearly not Asian.
No, Antonio's Thai.
I thought he was Filipino.
No, he's Thai.
Is
Oh.
he really? Holy
Yes,
shit.
he's
Oh,
Thai.
yeah.
And they had him say he was Spanish.
Fantastico.
Anyway,
Fuck
so
me.
God damn it. Anyway, so
I'm sorry, wait, hold on, I'm tripping now. I can need
It's
to
freaking Dora the Explorer all over again. Dominoes.
Oh,
Dominoes. It's morphin' time.
oh my
I
fucking
hate
god.
you, Andres.
Oh my god.
I mean, like
Okay,
Jasmine
okay,
needed it,
okay,
but
okay.
goddamn.
That's embarrassing and
Okay.
also horrifying. I'm so sorry
Yeah.
to all of my Asian cousins. I am also Asian. I'm just an idiot. Okay, continue.
So the whole theme of Samurai, Travis, is that for generations there have been multiple teams of Power Rangers that have defended the universe from these demons called the Nylok. They come from their own nether regions where the entire netherworld is flooded with Sanzu River water, which is filled with chaos and misery. So what they constantly try to do is through the cracks in the earth, they try to flood the earth with their own Sanzu River water, so that way they can ride in with their boats and take over the world and make it their own. So the Samurai Rangers have been defending the earth from the Nylok for generations upon generations. So when the show kicks off, you have the Red Ranger summoning the families of the dynasties of the rest of the Red Ranger. No, not the Red Ranger, the rest of the Rangers. And when you see the Red Ranger, he is white. He is white. He is mayonnaise white.
Salt.
His name is so,
Salt.
like he's so white. His name is Jaden.
Oh my
He
God.
he rides in on a white horse, literally. Then you look at his team. You have the Yellow Ranger, who is a blonde white woman. You have the Blue Ranger, who is a black male. You have the Pink Ranger, who is Asian. Good job, proud of you. What are you motherfuckers clapping?
Clap, clap, clap. Yep, that's me.
The golf
Clap.
clap.
You have the Green Ranger, who I believe is Spanish.
I believe so.
I might be wrong. I believe
He aesthetically looks Spanish.
I believe he is Spanish. And then later on, you have the Lie that is the Gold Ranger, who is Thai, but they say he's Spanish. But whatever.
He's valid.
He's valid.
He's valid.
But no, so he summons them because apparently their entire lives they have been training for this entire situation when they would finally be called to defend the Earth from the Nylok. So when the call goes out, you see Kevin, the Blue Ranger, who is training to be an Olympic athlete, who is told by his father, "No, fuck being in the Olympics. Like fuck your Speedo and fuck the Olympics. You are gonna go be a Power Ranger."
I mean,
Literally, that's what happens. He rose up and goes, "No, you can't be in the Olympics. You have to go be a Power Ranger and defend the world."
I mean, that makes sense. If the world there's no Olympics,
And like he doesn't,
so
get
he's
to,
valid.
but like he doesn't get to choose this. He is told he has to go do this.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
You have Emily, the Yellow Ranger, who wasn't supposed to be the one to go. Her older sister was supposed to be the one to go, but her sister got sick and wasn't able to go. So they set Emily in her place. And it's like, well, guess you're out of luck, kid. You got Mia, the Pink Ranger, who we don't really get any information about her. She was at a daycare, like being a daycare teacher, when this creepy ass Escalade rolls up with the samurai logo on it, and the window rolls down, kind of indicating her family picked her up and told her, "Hey, you need to go do this shit now." And then Mike is just at an arcade when he gets summoned, so we don't really get any context about him. But the inclination that goes out is that these kids are the first real child soldiers of the franchise. Every other season, they at least chose to be Rangers. Mighty Morphin chose, Zeo chose, Turbo chose, In Space chose, Lost Galaxy were chosen ones, but they still chose. Lightspeed chose. They could have told Fairweather and Dude to shove it. Time Force were cops. Wild Force, they were destined, but they could have told Shayla to fuck off.
The animals pick them.
Yeah, Ninja Storm went to the school because they wanted to be ninjas. Dino Thunder, they didn't have to pick up the Dino Gems; they chose to.
Yep.
SPD, they all chose to be cops. Mystic Force, Nick was kind of chosen for him, but like the rest of them just kind of were forced into it. Not really forced, but like they were kind of like they chose to be the Rangers. And then Overdrive, they were all paid to be there. Jungle Fury, same thing as Ninja Storm. RPM, they were all chosen by K, but they could have said no if they wanted to. But
again, Ziggy did not choose.
Well, yeah, okay, fair. Ziggy's and then Ziggy's technically Jim and Jumbo didn't choose, but in general, like, meh. Like they could have not put the Gold and Silver series on. So,
right.
They definitely they went back for it. So technically,
other than like extreme circumstances, like the majority of the Ranger population has never been forced to be a Ranger. This is the first season that mimics that Power/Ranger special perfectly because of the fact that they are forced to be Rangers. And Jaden even says when he first pulls up in his white horse and goes, "Look, I don't give a fuck what your family told you. This job is hard as hell. Y'all either gonna suit up and come with me, or you gonna go home. I don't care what your family told you." And it's so drilled into their heads they have to do it. They go with him. But Jaden straight up, he's been forced into this life because his father and his grandfather and so on and so forth have been Red Rangers for decades.
All white men.
All white men.
All white.
and what's even worse, Travis, Jaden's last name is Sheba. The white man's last name is Sheba.
Yo. I swear to you, the amount of times you say white man for this particular season, it always brings me back to white Power Rangers, and you're fucking killing me.
You cut out. What does it remind you of?
That cancerous fucking Sentai fucking video I sent like a long time ago.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. So then the show starts. They all begin their training to defend the world from the Nightlock. It very much goes back to the core of what Power Rangers is, which is like natural villains, like typical things going on. Their whole theme of the season, along with their samurai powers, is their morphers are indeed cell phones. But they're also modified from the Sentai because originally they folded from phones into calligraphy brushes, but here they just make magical calligraphy in the air with the phone somehow.
Because we can't teach children other cultures.
Like I'm guessing the NFC reader on the phone just makes the calligraphy. I don't fucking know, but like, So now, granted, later the other Red Ranger we see later does use the calligraphy brush, which thank God. But like. In general, they sort of fudge it, and they still do the traditional samurai things. At times, they wear traditional samurai gis. They do the training and whatnot. And I will say, Samurai has the most typical back to basic style of any season. Like a Megaforce, Samurai is definitely like, look, we had to rush this into production. We're gonna go back to basics. We're gonna get this done. There are some interesting characters along the way. I will say the best fucking villain of the entire freaking season is Decker.
Of course.
Because he is played by Power Ranger / Red Ranger veteran Ricardo Medina Jr. Free my nigga Cole. But
Yep.
But like, and also he is not bad for the brand JDF. You can suck my nuts. But like. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm
not disagreeing with you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay, so for context, let's just get this out of the way now.
Oh,
A couple years ago, Ricardo Medina Jr., aka Cole from Wild Force, aka Decker and Samurai and Super Samurai, was prosecuted and convicted for defending his girlfriend with a samurai sword from his roommate who was trying to attack his girlfriend. So, when he was first arrested and charged, the entire Power Rangers veteran Rangers family, that they supported him. They backed him up. They said, "We're praying for you. We got you. We here to support you." Except for one person.
Oh God.
Jason
the legacy.
David Frank.
The legacy, man.
This man came out on Instagram and put a video out saying, "You bad for the brand, Rick. Why you doing this?"
Bro,
like he had a choice?
Literally, he's riding in a car going somewhere and he goes, "This is bad for the brand." And I literally just lose my ever-living mind. I was so triggered. Like, you mean to tell me all of these Rangers have more balls than you when it's very obvious. While, yes, defending your woman with a samurai sword isn't the best option.
I mean,
I don't know what that's amazing. What are you talking
amazing.
about?
I'm gonna go out there and say, like, if you got killed by a fucking Power Ranger using a fucking sword, you probably deserved it.
Yeah, and it's like not great. Like this man could have used his hands. He could have called the cops. There was other options. I understand that from a legal perspective. I was a criminal justice major for a few years. I understand, but
when legal, I'm a Power Ranger.
But when I was saying, bitch ass JDF is the one person that has to come out the cut and say it's bad for the brand. Now, to his credit, JDF had a point. Because in the newscast footage, because casual press doesn't know anything when it comes to Power Rangers, they were showing footage of Mighty Morphin when talking about Ricardo. So technically, it's bad for the brand, but when he is being convicted for self-defense and the entire family is backing him, and you, the one person who gotta be that teacher's pet loving Haim Saban dick sucking mother, I'm gonna stop. So like,
hey, chill on JDF, because we all know he's crying over an order of wings at Hooters. Okay?
Why are you going back to this?
Because he looks like that douchebag. Like, he just does.
No, he's crying because he won't get a fight with CM Punk. That's it.
Can you leave wings out of this, please?
Yes, she works for wings. Let's stop. Anyway, so that is the second part of why I hate JDF. For anyone who wants to know, first, it's the Tommy dick sucking that the franchise does and the fan base does. Then it's his bitch ass doing wrong by Ricardo Medina, one of the best power. Because here's a fun fact for all you JDF Tommy loving fanboys.
Uh-oh.
Tommy's the best.
Says who?
Cole Evans was here for less episodes than Tommy, and he was a better Red Ranger. He was a better Ranger in general.
I'm just saying, who beat Rita and Zed? Not you. Who legit beat that Machine Empire? Not you.
Well, Tommy did fight Mondo.
Legolas beat them. I meant Andros.
You're right, Andros did.
I meant Andros. Andros beat everybody.
So yes, but so when Haley want to come out the cut and not Thunder and say not the oldest, just the best. Excuse me, Cole Evans, Taylor Earnhardt, Wesley Collins, Eric,
Jason Lee Scott,
all these other Rangers, Jack Landers, like Leo, Kimberly Hart, Leo, Carter Grayson, all these people on the list. Like, all these people can come back and be like, literally, if you I'll crack the joke now before we get to Megaforce. The joke, like when you have the reunion with all the Rangers, like having the hollow helmets and saving people, every last Ranger that shows up was a better Ranger than Tommy. And I'll stick to that.
Even Carter.
She wasn't
even there for that long.
Corone, Carter, Leo, Damon, Cassie, TJ,
all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Hell, Emily and Mike. I'll say. Well, maybe not Mike. I'll say Emily.
I love Mike.
I love Mike.
Mike was the only tolerable person in the whole season.
But like, there are so many better Rangers than JDF. But when Ricardo Medina is a better Ranger and has more guts than Tommy, and he bad for the brand, but the rest of the squad want to say that they defend him, nah, fam. Anyway, back to Samurai.
You were mad, man.
That's one hill I won't die on. And Andre can tell you, I've been on that hill for years.
He's been on that hill for years. Welcome to Bash. Welcome to Bash JDF podcast.
Anyway, so back to the season of Samurai. We have the continuing we have Decker, because the whole theme of Decker, played by Ricardo Medina, was that he was when he had first married his true love. They traded gifts when they got married. He gave her a guitar. She gave him a sword. Muramasa. Yeah, you know why? You know exactly why.
That's just the way you said it. It just reminded me of Mufasa.
My soul. Muramasa. So anyway, right when this happens, when they're asleep out on their honeymoon, their cabin starts to burn down. His wife pulls him from the wreckage. This is like hundreds of years ago, apparently, even though they're wearing like brand new dress clothes when they get married. So like she pulls him from the wreckage, and a Nylock appears and says, "I will save him if you agree to be cursed as a Nylock for the rest of your life." So she goes along with it and becomes the Nylock Dayu, who uses the power of music to seduce people and feed on their true miseries of life. But then Decker gets to live, but he is cursed as a half Nylock, always seeking the truest challenge with this sword, Uramasa. So, halfway through the season, Decker appears and wants to challenge Jaden the Red Ranger because he feels he is the best swordsman and he is hiding a deep, dark secret from his team. And the whole season's been going on. They've been getting different kinds of power-ups, similar to what Power Rangers does. They get different Zords, because originally the cool thing with the Samurai Zords was they did a cool thing where they wanted to reshoot all of the Zord footage anyway, but Bandai had a cool Mega Mode armor setup that they had made in prototypes for the season, even when they weren't going to make the season. So they made the Mega Mode suits full to scale, and they were totally different from what the Sentai did. Now, Andre just groaned. I love the Mega Mode suits. They look gangsta as hell.
See, okay. Let me explain myself. First of all, I don't have a problem with them. Yes, They look hella dope. I can agree with that. The problem that I have is, how are you only using them when you're in the Megazord, but you don't use them when you fight in the ground? That is literally the only time that we see any type of power-up like that for them, is only when they're in the Megazord.
Because they're only for the Megazord.
But what? You need an extra suit on top of the suit you're already wearing to pilot the Megazord? That makes no goddamn sense.
It's only for that.
I don't get it.
You don't get it?
No, I do get it, because toys and all that, but I don't get it.
That's really fun.
But you gotta wear a suit on top of a suit on top of a suit just to pilot a Zord. Like,
yes,
man, that's gotta be sweaty.
Or in general, they just transformed their suits into the Mega Mode suit. That's the point, Andre.
I mean, if you look at it from like a physics standpoint, you have to have like atmospheric suits to go up into,
Yeah, Andre.
altitudes.
I mean, I'm just saying, who else had to wear an extra suit just to pilot a robot? Nobody.
Dino Charge.
Nobody.
Dino Charge.
Oh, well, the same issue I have with Samurai in that is the same issue I have with Dino Charge in that.
Mr. I love Dino Charge. You can do
you can love Dino Charge and acknowledge that it's not. But listen, it's not perfect. But as far as
I acknowledge that it's not perfect, but of the dumpster fire that is Neo Saban, it is definitely a step above.
Okay, well, let's get back to going on. So, in general with the season, like Jasmine hinted at earlier, these Rangers are very basic. The only ones that get real development in general are literally primarily Jaden, Emily, Kevin, and Antonio later on. Mia and Mike just sit around all season, and then the only thing Mia ever contributes is her crap cooking. And then she has a brief idolization from Spike. Now, who is Spike, ladies and gentlemen? So,
who is that guy?
So, when they wanted to bring back the zeitgeist and bring back the familiarity for old fans of Power Rangers, they brought back Bulk from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But apparently, Skull wasn't available. So, they brought in a new actor to play Skull's son, Spike. So, Spike shows up in this new town where Bulk has now taken refuge and will learn the ways of the samurai from Bulk.
Oh,
hey, Bulk, what happened to your, what would you say, Travis?
Said who is also white.
Well, Jasmine, you remember Shinken Brown, white man.
Oh my god. Well, that was the thing. A lot of people, apparently there was behind the scenes stuff that said either Bulk or Spike was going to be made into Shinken Brown.
I would have taken Bulk because that would make a lot more sense.
I also really like Polly, so I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, who played Bulk, is amazing.
Paul Schreier?
Yeah, he is amazing.
Who said Pauly Shore?
I'm tired, okay?
I know.
So yeah, so he even comes he even comes back later and becomes a ranger in Power Rangers Hyperforce.
Hyperforce. Oh man, we gotta talk about Hyperforce.
That's not Neo Saban.
I guess we don't have to, but I want to.
Okay, we'll get to it at some point. So the season goes on. So when you look at it, and even with Kevin and Emily specifically, their only development is the fact they're Kevin becomes the biggest dick of the entire world. Because the fact that he's so mad at the world because he didn't get to go to the Olympics, that he trains. He takes being a samurai super seriously. You must train all the time. I need to be even better than Jaden. I need to be the best. So Kevin.
He must be Ash.
Yeah, Kevin's that guy. And then Emily just feels this guilt. She feels so plagued by the fact that she wasn't good enough. That she wasn't supposed to even be there, that her sister was supposed to be there, that she was just forced into doing this, which goes into the whole, that these two specifically, and Jaden, show the qualities of the fact they're being forced to live this life.
Yep.
I mean, Mike had some backlash as well, in a lot of that he learned how not to be an irresponsible asshole.
Which is true.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there was a couple of episodes that addressed the fact that he is largely irresponsible. It wasn't really made for this life either, and he learned how to overcome that. So I feel like we should give him some. And I'm only saying this because he was my favorite. So I did pay way more attention to him than I did.
Yeah, he was the one that really didn't take being a samurai too seriously. He knew he had to do it, but he's just half of this stuff.
Yeah.
He did get some development.
He did, to the point where he understood what the stakes were, because him messing up put everyone else at risk. Yes. And in danger and stuff like that. So yes, he did learn and he did grow, and I'm proud of him. Please don't knock my favorite.
You valid.
Thank you.
Don't knock my guy.
Okay. So we go from there to then the entrance of Antonio. Keep in mind, and then before I even bring in Antonio, keep in mind, Travis, the reason why I'm not mentioning any of the villains besides Decker and can't think of her name. Dayu. I said her name a minute ago. Yeah. The reason I'm not mentioning anybody but Decker and Dayu is because Master Xandrid, the big bad, the guy who's the king of the Nilox, literally is more useless than Rita. This man
literally down to his headaches.
This man sits on the floor
more useless than Rita,
because all he does the whole first season is sit on his ass on his boat and drinks quote unquote medicine, which apparently in the Sentai was booze.
It was absolutely booze.
Absolutely, he was drinking sake.
because they didn't care in Japan. They're like, oh, he's drinking sake. Who cares? And he's just drinking this stuff straight. He's constantly drinking medicine for his headaches because he's not as powerful as he used to be when he was before Paul.
What?
He's valid.
I mean, if I have to deal with teenagers wrecking my plans every single day, I drink too.
He's been trapped down there for millennia. He's tired. I get it.
I'm tired.
Oh, God. I can't stand those.
I'm tired of these multiracial, multicolored teenagers.
Multiracial should all be Japanese Rangers, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was tired of them too.
Anyway, so we go. If you don't hear me acknowledging Xandrid or his flunky Octoroo, it's because it doesn't matter. Like
Octoroo was way more sinister than that.
Yeah, Octoroo the flunky had more like character. He was snarkier. Like there's this great line he says where where Xandrid's talking shit and Octoroo just goes funny a lot of talk for someone who doesn't move their mouth to talk because it's a suit. And I was like, damn. Octoroo got balls.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He knows Xandrid can't stand up and chase him around. He's stuck on the floor.
Right.
So if you hear me glossing over that, that's why. Now, granted, when we get to Super Samurai, we see the entrance of a Serrator, who should have just been the main bad of the entire show because he's the one that cursed Dayu and Decker anyway. So he should have been the main bad anyway, because he had more plans, more guts, more everything, and more cunning than Xandrid all the way. We have the entrance of Antonio. So when Jaden was a young lad, a very poorly acted New Zealand lad.
When I was a young warthog.
Oh my god. Okay.
When I was a young warthog. Very nice.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Okay. So when Jaden was a young lad and he just wanted to be a boy, he didn't want to be a samurai. He just wanted to be a boy who had fun. He went on a walk with his mentor. Also, Mentor G is in the show. I hate him. No one likes Mentor G. Mentor G is an ass. He's played by the guy who played Emperor Grum in SPD.
What? Really?
Yeah. Yes. If you go back to the one episode of SPD where Grum comes to Earth and is human, it's the one scene, part.
Oh my god, you're so right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Mentor G is also a pedophile.
Yeah, wait, what?
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
Let's not know that. I like him.
Nope, we're not even gonna go there. Anyway, so Mentor G is an ass. We don't like him. But anyway, because he's forcing everyone into this life, so we don't like him. And apparently he's a pedo, so we don't like him anyway. But anyway, Jaden meets a young boy named Antonio at the fish market because Antonio's working with his father, who is a fisherman, and he brings Antonio to the Shiba house, the samurai locator place, and they play with the swords and have a good time, yada yada. And when Antonio is told he has to move away, and he tells Jaden literally gives him one of their swords as a toy. And Antonio goes, okay, when I come back years later, I'll become a samurai just like you and help you fight evil. So when the Rangers are having a problem with a villain, and Antonio earlier in his episode shot an arrow over to the Shiba house and says, see you soon, he finally shows up for his golden moment. And he morphs into a ranger who, I kid you not, has a blade that is shaped like a fish. And he calls it the Barracuda blade.
Yep. He's badass.
He is.
How you feel about that, Travis? Everyone just hit me up at once. CC and you guys.
He was so stunned.
Hold on, CC. Hold on. Say again. Give me a refresher.
So the new Red Ranger, the Red Ranger had told his friend when he was a young lad that when he came back he could become a samurai just like him. So he took the Zord that the small child gave him, reprogrammed a cell phone, and made his own Ranger Morpher and became a Power Ranger to save everybody. And he had a sword that was a fish.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool, but here's my peeve isn't with the kid. Isn't the Red Ranger in Samurai a white guy?
Yes.
Yes.
We've been over this, yes.
That's my problem. You could be a samurai
Thank
like
you.
me.
That is a valid opinion.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Samurais are a bloodline thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. Keep
Correct.
going. No, keep going.
No,
keep
keep
going. Please acknowledge.
Continue.
All of this bullshit.
I thought, okay, I am not. I'm many different many different races in this mix, but I am not Asian American. But I can say it comes off as you can appropriate culture just like me.
I am Asian American, and I can tell you that's exactly what it is.
Yo.
I mean, but you got the black guy talking about, generations and bloodlines. I'm like, homie.
Yeah. What's even better is once Antonio saves everybody and they go back to the Shiba house, Kevin is the only one on the team that votes against Antonio joining the team because he's not a true samurai. But then the pedo bitch, Mentor Grum G, pulls up and says, "I'ma take your more for Antonio. When you train a little more and you a real samurai, I'll let you be a ranger."
Wait a minute.
This man's who ain't even a ranger is allowed to decree who can be a ranger when he is the only one. He is the only one of the entire team who has chosen to be a samurai. Jaden didn't choose it. His dad was a samurai. Kevin didn't choose it. He wanted to be in the Olympics. Mia didn't choose it. Kevin didn't choose it. Mike didn't choose it. Emily didn't want to go anyway because it was her sister's job. Antonio is the only nigga who wanted to be on the squad. So for Mentor G to tell this man he can't be a ranger is some bullshit.
Especially considering,
he's super badass too. He showed them up. Like,
literally showed them up. They got their
asses kicked, and he came in and swept the house. It was nuts.
Yeah.
When you train better, shut the fuck up, man.
When you train better, homie, I've been training this entire time. What you mean?
And he goes like, "Yeah, I trained myself, but I just whooped their ass."
Right. So, why are you taking away things from an ally?
Yeah,
y'all wasn't doing any better.
Escalation of threat, my guy.
Escalation of threat.
So it's like that's why I hate Mentor G, for anybody who needs to know. But at this point, there's a couple more episodes that happen, small little detail plots, like nothing too crazy. And Decker and Jaden finally have their showdown, and Decker loses, and he apparently is finally put at peace for now.
For now,
his sword Uramasa is broken in half by Jaden.
Yep,
but we don't know what Jaden's secret is. So
why you always lying?
Oh my god!
Why the fuck you lying?
Oh my god. So we get to
lying by omission.
Yeah, it's omission. So we get to season 2. I'm gonna breeze through season 2 because it's the same damn show. It's nothing changes. They get a power up called Super Samurai mode, and that's it.
It's just an Elvis coat. Let's calm down.
Literally, it's an Elvis coat it really is already a thing because Cam used Super Samurai mode.
Super Samurai mode, yeah.
Yeah, we've already been here. So it's the same show. We already been here.
We already have a character named Mike. Nobody said anything about that, but
I know, right?
But then
technically a ranger, so I guess technically that name is up for grabs. But whatever, it's fine.
Mia's last name is literally Cam's last name, so they could be related.
So
this is Dino Charge, but Kendall's last name is the same as
Kendrick's.
That's hilarious.
It is.
I love that.
And then Jen was like, happy coincidence.
But it doesn't matter because Dino Charge is in its own universe because they fucked up the timeline so much. But anyway, back to Samurai.
Take it.
Back to Samurai. Basically, the whole show just leads up to Serrator, the new villain, shows up. He gets his butt kicked by the Samurai Rangers because he recruits Dayu and a return Decker because Decker just wants his sword back so we could beat Jaden's ass. But in reality,
That's valid.
But in reality, Serrator's a douche who doesn't help him, so Decker just kills him, and then Decker goes to be at peace and just kind of just dies. He doesn't really do anything. And then Xandra finally shows up. He keeps drying out because of the fact that he needs so much Sanzu water in his body to stay alive. But he finally shows up for one last confrontation. And it's really cool. And like throughout Super Samurai, they get some cool powers. Jaden gets a giant bull Zuka, a fucking bull like cannon to shoot at people.
Oh yeah.
They get a shark sword that can move around like Mr. Fantastic. They get some cool things.
Shogun mode.
Shogun mode, which is just an extension of Mega mode, which is I love Shogun mode so much.
Which only one person could use at a time for.
I mean, Super Samurai mode will only use one at a time.
That's true, but you're right. I had a thought, but then I lost it, so it's just you're right.
And then the one like interesting thing that ended up happening was towards the end of the show when Xander started to get super strong, was that Jaden was told he wasn't needed anymore because the true Red Ranger shows up. And come to find out,
who is that, James?
It's a white woman.
Yay!
It's the first ever on the main team.
On the good side.
On the good side, because A Squad was a woman and Zacher had to fight for that. Good job, Zacher.
Good job.
But this is the first ever woman Red Ranger in canon that's a part of the main squad. Jaden's big sister Lauren, who is the head of the Shiba clan, a white blonde woman, is the head of the Shiba clan. I will say that. And she comes in having learned the power of the sealing energy to defeat Master Xander because she was hidden away as a secret. That's what Jaden's secret was all along, was that he was hiding his sister and was given a second morpher to be the Red Ranger in her place until she was ready to defeat Master Xander. That's all it... Go ahead, Travis.
So Post Malone's sister was Iggy Azalea.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I missed something. What happened?
That was really clean. I'm not even gonna lie, Travis.
I missed something. What happened?
He said Post Malone's sister was Iggy Azalea. Yes.
That's a good one.
That's exactly right. You nailed it. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
So
this white woman comes in.
This white woman shows up, and Jaden goes, "All right, Lauren, cool. You Red Ranger now. I'ma go." And she's like, "What do you mean? No, we've been separated for like 15 years, bro. Let's be team. Let's be fam." And he's like, "No, because and here's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. If I stay, they won't respect you as the leader."
Which is ironic because after he leaves, they really don't respect her.
Because they go, "Damn, we really miss Jaden. Damn, we really miss Jaden. Hey, did you really miss Jaden, Lauren? We miss your brother."
You know what, Lauren? You're not Jaden, and you're not going to be as good as Jaden.
And like they demean this woman. This girl, I like this girl, Lauren. She acts the fuck out of her scenes. Like to the max. She comes in with her swag on 250. She rolls up, like just morphs, fights the monster of the day, comes down, says Rangers victory is ours. She pulls the whole squad up and goes, "We rolling." And this woman, like she acts her fucking ass off. Kimberly Crossman, I am so sorry that the writers that either they were limited by the Sentai or they did not care. That you deserve so much better because you are shitted on by this team when all you wanted was friends. You came on this squad wanting friends, wanted allies to help you defeat evil, and they shit on you the entire time you're there. I am so sorry, Miss White Woman. I am sorry. like joke aside, I really do feel bad for this girl.
This white woman.
Like I'm gonna say it. She is the best actor on this show. And I will fight anybody on this. She, like, besides Rick Medina, she is the best Ranger on this show because of how much power she puts in her scenes that she's there.
I just find it weird that it was mostly the dudes that were shitting on her, and they were like, we'll square up. Well, that's not new. And then they're like, square up, girl. Let's see what you got. She beats their ass, and then they're like, man, you're good, but you still ain't Jaden.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
So she and then
Mia, Emily, stand up for your woman. Stand up for your leader. What the hell?
So thankfully, she does come back as a playable character in the Power Rangers mobile game, which good, but like that ain't enough for me. And also, she does become a main character in the Shattered Grid storyline to the point they put her in a relationship with Jason from Mighty Morphin.
Good.
So like respect, but also Lauren deserved better. # Lauren deserved better. But
she did.
She did.
Yeah. So when she ends up even trying to use the sealing power on Master Xandred, he breaks it. So on top of the fact that she got shitted on by all these motherfuckers, she ends up failing at her one job because and she's defeated. And they're like, hey, we really miss Jaden. Did you know we really miss Jaden? I was like, I want to kill all of y'all right now. Like, I don't want to kill you like I wanted to kill Overdrive Team, but y'all some bitches and I hate you.
Hey, let's go get Jaden and just leave her all alone. Let's do that.
That's what they do. They go get Jaden because Jaden's trying to square up against Decker, and they go save Jaden.
Like the umpth time.
They save him, bring him back, and she goes, "You're meant to be the Red Ranger, Jaden." And then she goes off into a corner, makes a new sealing disc, and then Jaden is the one that uses the sealing disc to defeat Master Xandred. And I was like, "You mother."
White man saves the day.
Jasmine, I've sat here and spoke my mind on this, but obviously I'm not the one that should be mad here. You are finally getting granted she white, but like you finally getting a woman Red Ranger. How did you feel about this?
Oh god.
I remember being stunned and impressed. And yet this incredible feeling of foreboding because I knew it wouldn't last. And so when it actually happened, everything from them shunning her to her not even like the one thing she was supposed to do, it not even working. The entire time I'm just sitting there like, I'm disappointed, but ultimately unsurprised. You should know this. It's about the same when you go into a problematic thing and there's the one black character and you're hoping this time, maybe this time. Nope, he's dead in the first 5 minutes. Yeah, all right. Yep. Same thing.
Yep.
Same thing. It's bitter and angry and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was very pleased to see her in Shattered Grid take a more central role. I actually am really fond of Lauren, despite her just getting absolutely shit on. Just so problematic. It's so bad. It's a lot of things about this season is really problematic. Shocker.
Also, and let's pour some salt on the wound just because Jonathan Zacher is a horrible editor and producer. So I pulled up the wiki because I totally forgot her real name, and I scrolled through the whole bio of her season. So apparently, in the original Sentai Legend War, they show the female Sentai equivalent of her character.
Yes, they do.
They don't show any footage of Lauren in the Legend War.
Wow.
No, they don't.
So they still stick it to this girl all that time later.
No, they don't. Granted, she's supposed to be in like the same class as like Doggy and Cat, so I guess they were off somewhere else in the Sentai equivalent, but still.
Yeah.
Bitter. Really bitter.
Lauren was the one chance we had at dismantling the patriarchy, and man.
Yeah.
I mean, she. the other thing is she paved the way for it. So I do have hope and faith that it will continue and we will get better. I mean, yeah, it is, look at Beast Morphers, the quote leader commander of that show.
Commander, yeah.
And that's cool. That's cool to see. It's baby steps. I understand.
And limited by Sentai, so it's like they gotta work with what they got.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm not incredibly bitter about it, because I am. But I mean, at the same time, I know that times are a changing. So let me get my hands on it. Hire me. I'll fix everything for you.
I swear, if Jasmine got the right Power Rangers, there would be so much like nostalgia, but also so much awesomeness.
There would be. I'll tell you what there would be. No bullshit.
we gotta go to the next season. We'll do an episode when you pitch your own season.
No
later.
bullshit.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
So
I really
ideas.
would.
I would love to hear thoughts.
I would love, like, I really, no, yo, I have a fun idea for an episode.
Yes.
Since we're going into Megaforce. Also, Samurai, final thoughts. It's okay, but like,
it's meh.
It's meh. It's okay, but like,
me.
The next season makes it so much more. All right, so Travis had to step out, so like, so we're going to continue on without him. So.
Good, he doesn't need to be here for this dumpster fire.
No, he does not.
Okay. That's probably for the best. But wait, tell me what your idea is first.
So, as a follow-up episode, not this week, maybe down the line, we would do a follow-up episode, a part 5 or a part 6, depending on if we do cover Shattered Grid. How about we rewrite Megaforce?
Yes!
Oh, yeah!
Yes! I've been wanting to do that since it started.
All right, so... Hold on. We gotta do it right. Megaforce! Okay. So... Actually, no, I'm sorry. This ain't me. Because somebody punked out and do an overdrive. I'm going to sip on my drink and let Andre conduct himself. I'll chip in when I want to win. But Andre, it's your show now.
You did that.
I told James earlier the only reason why I said I would was because my memory of Megaforce is more fresh than Overdrive's is. Because lack of cable made me miss like a lot of Overdrive.
Well, carry on with my wayward son. When you're done.
Okay.
When you
are done. Okay. All right. So not Megaforce. Samurai was, the beginning season of the Neo Saban era. It was a rush job. We get it. Now we actually have time to plan things out. By this point, this is 2013? We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of the brand as a whole, starting with Mighty Morphin all the way up until what is now Megaforce. Megaforce is your typical nostalgia-driven type thing. Everything you saw in Mighty Morphin is basically right here. 5 typical teenagers, all from different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, all that good stuff. Chosen by this tiki head in the wall called Gosei, and has a robot companion who looks like something out of Lost in Space. All get chosen to be Power Rangers and fight an alien armada threat type thing. You have Troy, the Red Ranger, who's supposed to be like this kung fu type dude. You have Noah, the stereotypical black nerd. You have Jake, the stereotypical jock. Gia, the Yellow Ranger, is supposed to be like this somewhat badass looking girl who wears like leather pants and whatnot. You got, what's her name? Emma,
who likes photography.
Who loves photography and is supposed to be like this. As much as the Nick's site said in her bio, it's supposed to be like this BMX type bike rider type chick or whatever.
And loves the environment.
And she loves the
In the first episode, Gosei goes you're more than a BMX cyclist, but you care about the environment. I'm like, first of all, Gosei, you just said you're the mentor of Zordon, and we're putting this random chamber to be the guardian of the Earth. You mean like all these other times where we could have used you and now you're important?
No.
I had it until he did.
So, it's pretty much the same thing as Samurai. You fight your monsters of the day, except in this part we have like 3 factions of villains. God, it was so forgettable. I forgot what half of them were even called. Like, one was supposed to be like insects, another was supposed to be like
mutants,
robots, and another one was supposed to be like mutants. Yeah. So at each point, each faction gets beaten, and then, come the second faction of villains comes their quote unquote Sixth Ranger, which is
I am Robo Knight.
I am Robo Knight, defender of the environment, who is such an asshole to them for a good majority of the time, because he's like, I don't know you people.
My memory cards have been corrupted by years of being underground because Zordon had so many auxiliary plans.
Yeah, I was frozen in ice with the dinosaurs, or whatever excuse they want to give him.
Literally put on ice.
So, yeah, it's that's all I got.
Are you okay? Okay, fine. So
it's pretty much a cardboard cutout.
You're a pushover.
It's pretty much a cardboard cutout. Like,
Andre, I'm disappointed in you.
You should be disappointed in me.
So I will give him. I will give him that. The entire first season of Megaforce is the most cookie cutter thing. Jonathan Zacher wanted as many fight scenes in the show as possible. It was revealed later by different writers that did interviews that all Jonathan Zacher wanted at points was just more Sentai footage, more action scenes to sell the toys, to sell the merch. He didn't care about the writing. He cared about the basic thing to get the plot moving. I kid you not. There is literally an episode where the villains think it's a good idea to slow down the humans' train systems to make them suffer, when half of America doesn't even use trains anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, that would wreck New York, but
that would wreck
that would wreck places where it's actually needed.
Yeah, but and because of Japan having trains to the point they even have a train themed Sentai, that makes sense. But they're so hard pressed to.
By the way,
we're never going to adapt that.
I love to adapt that.
That's the one I want to adapt.
It'll never happen.
Shut up.
But they could have changed it, but no, we're not going to change it. And the entire show reeks of laziness. The whole show has its problems, but then,
oh god,
we get to Super Megaforce.
Super Megaforce.
This is how much Megaforce doesn't even matter, because Goseiger, the team that was from the Sentai, was forced upon the writers and staff. They wanted to skip to the Gokaiger stuff to do the anniversary stuff, but they were forced to do Goseiger, which was themed around angels. They barely cared about any of that. They just used the suits to carry on a basic Power Ranger season with the villains they had until the season came to the pirates. And even
and mind you, a trading card game was released about this time, which was probably trying to capitalize on the fact that Megaforce, to summon their weapons and their Zords, use cards. So yeah, that bombed. And it bombed.
It bombed.
I didn't even buy one.
It bombed harder than the Digimon card game.
Oof.
And
that says something.
And the sad part is the Digimon card game is coming back.
Yes. Because unlike Megaforce, Digimon actually cares.
Yes. So we get that's like, and here's the thing: the actors for Megaforce and Super Megaforce, some of them get a pass. Some of them just kind of are mediocre, but like some like Sierra Hana, some like Cameron Jibo.
Yes,
they actually are really good at what they do. But but apparently from behind the scenes knowledge, they were given nothing to work with the entire show. They were constantly told to just do more ADR for more fight scenes and carry on with basic plots for basic cookie cutter kids. They were fighting for more to do and they couldn't get it. So, like there was even points in different interviews where they said they don't even want their season included in a box set.
Yeah,
that tells you how problematic stuff is.
It was bad. So this gets worse.
Yeah, so we get to Super Megaforce. Super Megaforce happens where they go, okay, cool. So your Tiki powers don't matter anymore. Your Angel powers don't matter. We're going to do anniversary stuff now. So here's your pirate morphers. We're not even going to call you pirates. Here's your pirate morphers. You can access not only a super mega mode. It's not even new powers like Zeo or Turbo. It's a mode.
Because we keep having to use the Megaforce suits, even though good majority of that footage doesn't need them.
Yes. So it's just a mode. And then they also have their legendary ranger mode, which gives them the ability to turn into rangers from the past. Now, granted, the majority of these scenes with the legendary ranger stuff, where they do the call outs, where they do different things, they have the fighting styles, but the majority of it's just reused from the Sentai. It's cool because it's the stuff you want. But then, these lazy motherfuckers decide that it's too much of a hassle to take out the Sentai-only teams that were included in Gokaiger. So they just start saying, hey, bring on the new powers. And they go, hey, this is the supersonic team. This is the squadron team. What did they call a Dire Ranger?
New powers.
No, something else. They actually had a name for Dire Ranger.
Oh, I thought they were just new powers.
No. They had a specific name for Dire Ranger because it was funny because when they went into Dire Ranger. The Silver Ranger said, "I'll go Mighty Morphin."
Hold on. I have to read.
I refuse to touch it.
You refuse to touch it?
I'm going to. Okay, let's see.
I'll let you look that up, but I'll go on because they started to basically calling them generic names. They don't take out the Sentai only teams. Excuse me. They keep going on with it, and it leads into the whole laziness the entire season. They don't care about the anniversary stuff barely as borderline they can get. They only care about more fight scenes, more new Zords, more this, more that, more power ups, new things, yada yada, and it's boring. It's boring because they don't even care about the legacy of Power Rangers. They have little episodes. What would you find it, Andre?
The legendary squadron.
What? No, I thought that something else was called Squadron.
Well, that just shows the laziness of the show. Everything's a squadron.
Oh,
hold on. Let's delve deeper into this.
Yeah, Crisis Averted.
Oh, that's Crisis Averted.
Hell yeah.
Yep, that's a legendary squadron.
Okay, so they have this stupid problem. The thing is, they could have made it so easy by just saying an offhanded line, hey, these powers are from the past. We'll siphon in footage from the Sentai, and these are teams from different galaxies, different planets, whatever, because we know that as much as Andre likes to remind me, Aquatar exists.
It does exist.
I may not acknowledge Alien
exists.
I may not acknowledge Alien Rangers as a season, but it exists.
They're a thing.
So they could have used simple writing mechanics that literally this would have taken Jasmine a microcosm of a thought to go in and go, this is a different planet. This is from KO35. This is from Triforia. This is from Aquatar. Problem would have been solved.
Or from some other country in this universe.
Yep.
You could say they're from the future, even, and
from the future.
The fucking use that one as the next one. You could do whatever you want.
What they did with the Boom comic. They said that there was other Mighty Morphin teams before the originals in the 80s and 90s. So there was methods to do with this, but they didn't do it. It's annoying.
Oh my god!
God. Which I will say, it was actually kind of when I was tolerating Super Megaforce at the beginning. It was fun actually seeing the Easter egg Sentai suits in there. Oh, I know who that is. Oh, I've seen that one before. But I digress.
So, Jasmine, you speak on this.
Why?
You don't want to?
You know why?
Why?
Well, listen.
Wow, it really was Legendary Squadron. I'm watching it right now. I'm kind of disappointed.
That's
I swear they called it something else, but I'm disappointed it wasn't something else.
No, it's Legendary Squadron.
I think the biggest takeaway from this is that when you don't care about the franchise that you're writing for, it shows. And regardless of how much effort you put in to make it enjoyable, it's not going to be for anyone involved. I think that that's just the biggest thing, and that's true in like everything. You know, that's true in every franchise you can think of, not just Power Rangers. But Power Rangers is a big thing because it has a very big legacy and a lot of people who care very deeply about everything that goes on in it. And so, yeah, I mean, it would have been easy for someone who actually gave a fuck about the franchise to do something with it. But they didn't. They cared about money, and money ruins everything. So...
yeah. And it honestly isn't even really that hard to do. Especially with a mythos as grand as this show is. Like Jane said, you could have easily said, like, oh, this is from this planet. Oh, this is from this planet. Oh, this is from the future. This is from somewhere. Literally any other explanation than just a bare minimum, these are just new powers you've never seen before, would have been acceptable for me as a fan. I would have found it a lot more entertaining had that been the case.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Some form of effort would have been appreciated.
And the thing is, there's things like they do a Spirit of the Tiger episode where they bring on Casey from Jungle
good
Fury.
Episode.
It's the only good anniversary episode because you have an episode where Jada comes back, which makes sense. It's the newest season that's good for the kids who were mad about the Samurai Rangers not being around anymore. Which good job on you. But then there's an episode where they go to the Animarium. They call it the Animarium, and they only go there to get the Red Lion Zord. Which, fun fact, this was filmed before the Rick Moranis case, so you could have still called Rick Moranis, who was here last season, to help you with that anniversary, but you didn't do it. You dubbies.
You didn't call anybody past this point.
You could have called
Does it
Shayla.
make sense? It's an anniversary fucking season. You have to, and you didn't.
You could.
Why?
They apparently even rushed doing the legendary war at the end, so like they rushed bringing people down to New Zealand for that shooting. So that's fun. Like you could have called Shayla. They do a thing where they go to Corinth to get a red hot rod Zord. You could have called Eka Darville back because he did a power clash with the Red Rangers, which I don't even want to acknowledge from Samurai because that was a mess and I don't care.
That was a mess.
Like Eka Darville only comes back to play Scott in the capacity of a pseudonym and a voiceover because he was part of the Screen Actors Guild at the time, and Power Rangers don't like unions, so that's fun.
I'm so
but
about that.
You could have had him come back in a bigger capacity this season, but you didn't do it. You could have had Dr. K come back, which is rumors that Dr. K is coming back for Beast Morphers.
Which is great.
So, there were options, but you chose to be lazy, and it hurt your cause.
Which, looking at the episode counts, they only did 8 tribute episodes.
Yup. The only good tribute episode was the Spirit of the Tiger, which they did with the actor who played Casey. And the only reason why they got to do that episode was because the actor who plays Casey was a writer on Megaforce. That tells you how bad stuff was for the season.
Bitter disappointment.
And then we finally get you don't even need to worry about the villains of Megaforce. The only thing that matter.
Remember them?
They had an alien armada that just wanted to come to Earth and take over. It was generic.
Literally, everybody wants to take over Earth. Go take over Mercury, goddammit.
Like literally, it was so generic that the Rangers were blowing up the Armada ships like they were nothing. But then they would get blasted back down 2 seconds later, like they weren't just blowing up hundreds of ships and killing millions of aliens. Like, it was stupid. But then we get to Orion.
Oh god, the best
Orion
of all of them.
He's the best acted Ranger. He's the best written Ranger by a little bit of a margin. And he
has a backstory.
He has a backstory. And besides Troy's like lack of potential, because like Troy the Red Ranger, the lack of potential he is left with because of how much content was cut from him behind the scenes. Orion is the biggest misstep of the entire season. Because they say he's from a random planet we've never heard from before. They say that when he does do this really cool moment where he reaches inside of himself to unite, like, because he's given the power of the Green Ranger key from Mighty Morphin, the White Ranger key from Dino Thunder, and the Quantum Ranger key from Time Force. To unite and create his powers and give him the control of all 6 Rangers. I know JDF won't miss a phone call for a voiceover. You could have called Dan Southworth. He's an anime. You could have called him for a voiceover. Trent might have been a little harder, but he came back from Ninja Steel, so you could have tried to call him for a voiceover, because that's what it was. The Sentai, was it not? They did voiceovers for when the 6th Ranger got his gold mode, correct?
No, they actually showed up.
Oh, they actually showed up?
Granted, spoiler alerts for anybody that doesn't watch Sentai. All of the Sentais that he got keys from Mighty Morphin, Time Force, and Dino Thunder, their Sentai equivalents were all dead.
Oh.
Yeah, they all died.
See, I didn't know that.
Not like in reality, like in their respective seasons, all of them are dead.
Wow.
Yeah, so he kind of had like
hard, man.
Yeah, so he kind of had like this like what would you call it? Like an almost he had
Orion a lot better than
like a spirit moment.
Yeah, he had like a spirit moment where they came together and they gave the Sentai equivalent their keys, and
so
that, yeah.
So they do something equivalent to that, but they just have Orion go, "All you 6 Rangers, come help me!" And it's like, you could have easily called some people for a voiceover. The hell is wrong with you?
Also, I noticed that the tribute episodes that they did do were almost all Disney seasons except for 2.
Yup.
So that kind of really confuses me.
Yup.
Because I'm just like, wait. What, I thought we were, because at this point we don't even acknowledge anything in Disney ever happened.
Yup.
So how are we doing? I mean, granted, yeah, Sentai footage, but we're like, how are we doing tribute episodes to seasons that we don't acknowledge exists?
Because here's a fun one. Danny Slavin comes back to do Leo for the finale. Am I correct in remembering that there was a Lost Galaxy, or like whatever the hell Lost Galaxy's equivalent was in Sentai, episode tribute for Gokaiger?
Yes, there was.
So why didn't you say, "Oh, Terra Venture's somewhere in space, we need to help them," or something like that? Like,
no, that's too much work.
Apparently,
that's literally too much work.
That's too much work.
Isn't Bridges actor from New Zealand, or like you could have called him to help, because they're literally, or even call John Tui to put back on the dog costume, because there literally is a whole subplot in the Gokaiger where Doggy Kruger has a dick measuring contest with Marvelous the Red Ranger.
It was great.
Yeah.
They came back in Strongest Battle, and it was amazing.
So you could have gave Troy more mythos than he had besides his Superman punch.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that's just yeah. So Megaforce is nothing but bullshit and a mess. If only for the cameos, watch it, but just skip over all the bullshit.
Or you could just skip over the entire season in general.
I was about to say, I literally can't fathom anyone enjoying that season.
Unless you were a small child and this is
like
exposure to the brand.
You can go watch the Legendary Battle on YouTube. That's all you need to worry about.
Watch the extended version because apparently that's the better one.
Yes. So give your final thoughts, guys.
My main issue with the show, the lack of creativity on its part is like a huge thing, considering this is your anniversary. The show has been going on for 20 years at this point. This is your either go big or go home. And what you're telling me is your go big thing is not your go big thing. I don't like this. I don't like Super Megaforce for that reason, number one. Number two, background production issues really made me not like this, because apparently since this was an anniversary and, we got to bring back people, everybody gets a generic letter say, "Dear Power Ranger, please come back and celebrate this show," and blah, 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 blah. Now, like some of the veteran actors say, "Okay, cool. This is great. I want to come back, blah, 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 blah." Others are like, "Well, since you're paying me basically what a McDonald's employee makes, I make more money currently doing what I'm doing here in America than to fly all the way to New Zealand, shoot like a 5-second cameo, and then fly all the way back to New Zealand. It makes no sense." And then others just don't get the invitation at all, like every single person in a Disney season besides Casey, because he's in the writer's room. So, like, this show is so devolved of any creativity, it makes my head hurt.
Yes.
Jasmine, please continue my rant.
Speak your mind and you'll be heard.
It makes me, I'm very, very, I treasure story above literally everything else. We've been over that. That's why RPM is my favorite season. It's, it's something that is very near and dear to my heart. And when you fuck up something that is supposed to be an anniversary, first of all, but also just a celebration to the franchise as a whole, is so incredibly disappointing that I am like legitimately heartbroken by it, and I don't like to acknowledge that it exists at all, because everyone involved in that deserved better. Just got treated like shit. The story could have been so much better. The fact that Gokaiger was so fucking good and then you took it and you ruined it. It would have, honestly, at this point, it would have been better if you just transcribed everything from Gokaiger. I usually hate it when that happens, except for Time Force, but we're not going to talk about that.
Wild Force too.
I said yes. Well, I mean yes, but Time Force Time Ranger for a long time was my favorite. Season of Super Sentai, which is why I was pleased when they did not fuck with that. Anyway, at this point, lazy writing is hurtful regardless, but when it's something this important, it's so, I literally feel sick. I feel sick thinking about it, so I don't like to think about it.
I try not to think about it a lot. I mean, just for the people that did come back, like you brought back first Black leader of the Power Rangers, Solon Ward, as the Blue Ranger. You brought back Cassie as in Space Pink. You brought back Wes. You brought back Mike and Emily from last season. You brought back who else? Carter, Dana. You brought back Tyrone, of all people, which I was very happy to see. Leo, Damon, and he who shall not be named. So James doesn't get upset anymore. He who shall not be named. It kind of is just like a slap in the face.
Yes.
At least for us adulter people. I'm sure there are children that probably out there that are like, "Oh my gosh, Megaforce is great." I'm just looking at them like,
why? And you're valid in your opinion, but you are horribly wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
I wish that people would acknowledge that kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for.
They are.
I'm pretty sure that, I was a child watching Power Rangers. We were all children watching Power Rangers. We could acknowledge when a season was good and when it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It's not like they're kids aren't stupid. That's the other thing. Okay. I need to talk about this. Kids can handle shit. Kids can handle shit. Why don't you let them handle shit? Honestly, it doesn't have to be cookie cutter perfect, okay? It doesn't have to be so doled down violence-wise that, like, nothing ever, there are no stakes whatsoever, okay? Like, that doesn't have to exist. I'm just scared my cat. I'm sorry, kitty. That doesn't have to happen. Kids can handle it and enjoy it. Kids have handled and enjoyed a lot heavier shit than this. And honestly,
Time Force,
you should
Wild
trust
Force,
them.
Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Mystic Force.
Hey man, if I had to go through the trauma of seeing Kendricks die, you can handle a lot worse.
Yes, exactly. And it's not even like they like, listen. Kids are a lot smarter and a lot more durable than we give them credit for, which is ridiculous because we should know growing up with shit like The Land Before Time and fucking other traumatic shit that exists out in the. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Everyone of our generation kind of like it's like almost every generation watched like an epic ass tragedy that they had to cope with.
Yo, I saw Optimus Prime die.
And we coped with it. It made us into the people we are today. And kids need to have that. They need to have that. And it's something that bothers me a lot about American like TV shows. They just seem to treat children as if they're like just stupid.
You gotta put them in a protective bubble.
Like,
yes,
Avatar The Last Airbender was groundbreaking. Steven Universe, groundbreaking. Freaking Adventure Time, groundbreaking.
How is animation is better?
How to Train Your Dragon was fucking like.
Oh my god, that was traumatic.
Pivotal in it. Well, yes, but like the fact that they gave you like disabled characters and like Big Hero 6 talking through grief and shit like that.
And the thing is,
it's important to acknowledge. No, that's all I'm saying. It's important to acknowledge that not only can kids handle it, they have to. They need to, because cookie cutter, sheltered, nuclear family kids exist out there, but so are people who don't have parents, who have parents who are incarcerated or are dead, or are single parents, or in other capacities. They exist out there, and they need to be able to see that in fiction, so that they know that it's okay.
Mind you, where are the parents in this show?
Oh my god, they wear the same clothes every day. Their parents don't exist.
Literally wore the same clothes every single day except one episode. But then after that one episode, even in that same episode, then they change back into their regular street clothes. Like, what dry cleaner is open 24/7 that you keep wearing the same clothes over and over again?
My heart breaks for
don't
Sierra
talk about that, because honestly, I wear the same clothes every.
But we're actual humans.
Yeah, and it's like, and don't get.
These are pretend people.
I want to say one more thing before we wrap up for the evening, because we will have a bonus episode where Andre and I will discuss Dino Charge and Ninja Steel on Sunday. But here's my final thought on this. I know there's little kids, because I've seen Power Morph Confidence. I know there's little kids who idolize Andrew Gray for being Troy, and they wear their Megaforce suits to cons. I know there's little kids that love Samurai, and I understand.
They're valid.
They're valid. My first season was Turbo. I had to watch as the first black leader of the Power Rangers was cooking to a pizza. I understand. Power Rangers can be goofy.
He said, I'm gonna toss your salad.
Get that.
Like, I understand that Power Rangers can be goofy as fuck. I understand. But when we can't even respect children enough to give them serious plot lines, because yes, the season started with them getting baked into a pizza and the Rangers being replaced with robots, but then the season ended with Zordon's home planet of Eltar being taken over, Divatox winning after losing horribly in the entry movie, and losing their powers and having to go to space to somehow find a way to save Zordon.
Astronema enslaving the Earth.
That's what I deal with as a child kicking this shit off.
Yeah, who can forget about the time that Zordon's tube broke?
Yes.
Elgar
Real
walked
talk.
in the cut and threw something at his tube and broke that
Yo.
shit. So, like, we were throwing, like serious themes at children from the jump. Mighty Morphin was cookie cutter, but, like, I'll be damned if that one episode where Goldar was trying to literally kill Jason in that one room.
That gave me nightmares. I'm not gonna lie.
Same. I couldn't watch that stuff for a while. So it's like, this stuff be serious. So when you treat children with respect, when literally the season before prior was RPM, I'm sorry, fam. No, like, these children deserve better.
They do, and so are longtime fans of the fandom who are adults now. You can cater to both. Here's the thing: you can cater to both. You know why? Because kids can handle it.
And you know why? Because the comic book is doing that.
Yup.
Yeah.
Every other media part of this brand is doing better than the actual show. And appeasing to both sides. The casuals, the children, the long stay fans, all of it. Like, you're doing a great job with everything else but the TV show.
Yup.
Just give it to me. Give it to me.
Give it to anybody else, including Jasmine.
Give it to Jasmine. So we are gonna go ahead and wrap up. We sat here and ranted for a hot minute.
This needed to be ranted on for a hot minute.
It did. But Andre and I will return on Monday with a bonus episode to wrap up with a part 5 that we have 5 solid Rangers to discuss everything. There will be bonus episodes in the future. We have to talk about the reunion episodes of Beast Morphers coming out. I want to talk about Beast Morphers. There will be more. I want to talk about Shattered Grid at some point because we are comic book fans. Stuff that happens in Shattered Grid matters. We will talk about there might be a point where I drag Jasmine and Andre back on here to talk about Psychopath because that book is depressing.
Oh God!
So
I just started reading Psychopath 2. Don't do this to me.
Oh Travis.
James, why would you put me through the trauma?
Travis,
we were just talking about trauma.
Travis, I'm gonna be 100% real with you. You don't have the context to absorb Psychopath. If anything, if you want a book that you'll gravitate towards as an MMPR fan, as someone who just came off the SPD, go read Soul of the Dragon.
I was thinking that or Lord Draken.
We'll talk after the show. So, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Blerd Grounds. You can follow the website on Twitter and Instagram on Comics Ground. Check out the website on comicsground.com. Put some hyphens between those words for me so you can check out all of our reviews, all of our previews, all of our solicitations every weekday for you good people. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, all that good stuff, except for SoundCloud. We don't support SoundCloud. Check out our fellow podcasts on the OCG network, Lit on the Edge podcast, our Spider-Man podcast, and our comic book podcast, Panel to Panel. Like we just said, we will be back on Monday with a bonus episode wrapping up this whole Legacy of Power for you good people. So, Travis, having been in and out and absorbing all this information we've been giving you, what is your closing statement for episode 4 of Legacy of Power?
Oh, man. All I know right now for sure is that Samurai, I will never touch most.
No, you can touch Samurai. Don't touch Megaforce. Don't touch Megaforce.
No, just don't touch either of them. It's fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. Andre, what is your closing statement for Legacy of Power Part 4?
Oh God, where do I begin? Megaforce and Super Megaforce is a dumpster fire. Samurai is at least somewhat decent, except for the white man and the white woman saving everybody. I want more creativity and actually taking itself seriously if we want to compete with the big wigs of Marvel and DC, which, I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but who knows if it's in the right hands. Yeah, just do better by my brand, because otherwise I'm going to riot.
Okay. Jasmine, what is your closing statement for Legacy of Power Part 4?
Hire me.
I knew I was going to do that.
Hire me.
Hire me too.
Do you want my portfolio? I have some. I have like so many plans. I have a music-based one. I have an angel-based one. I have a dragon-based one.
Somebody has the music-based one beat for you.
Yeah,
What?
Jaminger is a thing.
Jaminger is a thing. Have you checked Twitter lately?
Have you checked
No.
Instagram lately?
Have you
I
checked
refuse.
Instagram?
No, I'm not looking at that. No, I refuse.
Girl,
No, I like mine
no,
better.
it actually looks really good.
It's one of the best Power Ranger cosplayers. Brought a bunch of people together to create his own version of Sentai. It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I will probably check it out. I'm not going to let go of my death grip on mine, though.
That's fine.
You valid.
Okay. I want to talk about it now. Are you going to let me talk about it?
Not right this second. We can come
God
back
damn
to it.
Fine.
All right.
Also, you should watch Hyperforce because it's good.
Yes.
Hyperforce is great. All right. So my closing statement, as always, is hashtag Lauren deserve better.
Of course.
Hashtag JDF can suck my nuts. And hashtag free my nigga Cole. We will catch you folks.
Also, water bottles deserve better because Troy was beating those water bottles' asses, and they don't deserve that.
Wow.
He's right. Troy had an obsession with water bottles, and it was really weird.
He was so angry at them. Maybe it's because they're plastic. I don't know.
He was trying to save the environment, just like Robo Knight.
Plastic.
That's fine.
Damn, Jasmine.
That's what I said.
All right, we will catch you.
You're valid.
You are valid. We will catch you folks next time right here at Panel to Panel. Peace out.